What's stopping us? Welcome back.
Hello.
Episode 27, obviously.
Yep.
Let me help you with that.
Thanks, man. It's what we do.
It's been a long time. When was the last episode?
The last episode.
2013?
2013 plus 10.
Something like that?
Yeah, definitely like the summer.
Really?
Yeah, so.
And now it's the winter.
Winter of 2024.
Yeah.
First winter of 2024.
Yeah, it's weird how that works.
Yeah, unfortunate. There's only one summer for each year, but there's like 2 winters almost.
Yeah, it feels that. I mean,
Like-
it's only, yeah, that is weird.
The year's wrapped up and brought in the winter.
Yeah.
But
What have you been?
what have I been?
Yeah.
Like,
Up to.
almost debt free. We're paying off debt.
Wow.
But also like I just, yeah, I'm like low on money.
Yeah.
I'm not saving,
Right.
which is bad, but
Yeah.
it's going to like
I
a
mean,
good place, I think.
I'm
Like,
in mountains of debt and have no money. So,
oh well,
you know.
what can you do?
Oh, so much more than I am.
I mean, that's all right. I think I was almost like T-boned today
Really?
on the way here. Yeah,
Wow.
like I was.
Stew number, like,
This
9?
is. Well, I actually know the number.
you can say it.
Do you think it's 9?
No, it's like 4 or 5, right?
4 or 5? What is it? Because
Do you want me to think about it and then answer, or do you want me to just say my guess?
I don't know. I know the answer.
I'm guessing 5.
Okay, you're right.
Am I right?
It's 5, yeah.
So we had the apartment, me and Jess's apartment.
Well, before that,
It was my basement.
in
In St. Charles, my
Yeah.
parents' basement. Then me and Jess's apartment.
That's right.
Then
Yep.
Then-
Maybe.
Oops.
We don't. We're honestly not gonna get.
yeah.
I don't.
We gotta beep that.
I don't know. Yeah,
then-
that
Your apartment,
citrine. Yep.
and then this home.
Here
that,
we are now,
that
yeah.
Jess and I.
Stu no
rent.
5.
Stew number 5. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
And I almost said 4 because I completely forgot about my parents'
The
basement.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah. If I would have done the thinking in my head first, then answered, I would have excluded my parents' basement, and I would have said 4.
I think that's easy to like exclude because like
It was such a short period.
and it was never like filmed. You know.
Yeah.
We just recorded.
Right.
So
Right.
that was season 1.
Yeah.
And then we started season 2 at that undisclosed place,
Right.
and we're still on
Still
season
on season 2. Still on season 2. Busy
Yeah.
couple of guys we are.
Yeah, I think that was 2022 when we started the season 2.
Really?
But
And now it's 2024.
2024, but yeah,
We're just
we're
whatever
taking
season.
we want quality, right? We
Quality
can't just
over quantity.
poo these out. What have you? Yeah, I was almost T-boned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like turning out like my neighborhood, and like I had the green light. I was like, okay,
Which means go.
yeah, and I was turning left, and all of a sudden, like, I heard like this loud screech, as if like a car like by me was like slamming on their brakes, and
Coming
like
to
as
a
I
halt.
as I was turning, the car was like headed, like it zoomed behind me pretty much.
Wow. Almost gave you a good
So
schmack.
yeah, I think like I could have been paying more attention,
Yeah.
but also I had
you had the green.
So, but I think thinking positively back on that, like that I struck fear into that driver. So now he's
Right.
probably going to be more
A
cautious
little bit more attentive.
when running red lights. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some notes.
Uh-huh.
But first, let me say what I've been.
Oh, yeah. What have you been up to?
Even though I don't think you said what you've been, you just said what happened today. And today I've done nothing except for clean.
Yeah, you really flipped this room around.
I did that. I turned this into a stew, which took me 3 minutes, 29 seconds,
Okay.
give or take.
That's pretty quick.
There wasn't much to do in here. I just had to
Yeah.
get a couple of trashes out, and then I had to move a couple
Were
of things.
these chairs already in here?
No, I did have to slide the chairs in,
Okay.
which, I mean, they're like pretty small chairs, but
Yeah.
they're actually a pain in the pecker to get through a
Uh-huh.
doorway because I have to turn it like on its side.
Yeah.
Then I got to do like the top or the bottom
These
first
are pretty.
and go.
These are honestly pretty like wide
They're
chairs.
thick.
There's
They
some
are
thick,
some girthy
sturdy
chairs.
Sturdy chairs. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I like them though. They're comfy. Everything like about this set looks like screams like 90s or 80s.
It's a
to me.
good
I wasn't
the
there.
vinyl.
Wood.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
It's an interesting vibe.
I like it.
And
I like it.
when we moved here, this was gonna be like my game room. Mm-hmm. I was gonna have like basically the lights that are out there. I was gonna put in here.
Oh wow.
Or like lighting, some kind of cool lighting.
I'd have to do like a triple lap around that.
Yeah.
If you did that.
Well, those are like made to cut wherever.
Oh right.
You want.
Go yeah.
But I was gonna do that and like put some posters up, get a bunch of posters up, and I was gonna have like my PlayStation in here, and I was gonna use it. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, it's just me and Jess living here. We don't have like other people that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
So why do I not?
Why do you need to hide yourself?
Right. I just use my living room for all that.
Yeah.
So, but now we're in this room because we want to not be disturbed. I'm not worried about disturbing others. We're worried about being disturbed.
We're not ashamed of what we're doing. We're not
if
hiding here in this closet-like room.
It does feel that way.
Yes.
But if we were in the living room, we'd have dogs in our laps, and Jess is probably running around doing something up there right now. You know, I should have told her to leave. Should I tell her to leave?
No, it's just fine.
But I've been working at a bank in the city.
Actually, like still.
No, taping.
We're
taping.
mudding, taping. Yeah.
Right. Not a teller. I'm no teller.
That's. I mean, yeah.
Which is a fine job.
It's a fine job.
Not for me.
Not for you. You're more of a hands-on type of guy, not so much crunching numbers.
Right. Crunching numbers could not be my thing.
Yeah.
But unless I learned sleight of hand, then I could say, "Oh, 20, here's your amount," and then, oops, Then they're like, "Oh, thank you," and they walk away. They get home, they count. They're like, "Man, I'm missing a 20, and it's in my pocket."
You think you could pull that off?
I couldn't.
With practice, do you think like I don't know, by the summer, do you think you could like finesse some people?
Maybe, because once when I get into something and I work hard at it, I can usually get good at something. Yeah. But my hands are so like bare mitt, aggressive. Yeah. Like I don't have finesse with my hands at all.
I see what you're saying.
I'm pretty. They're really dexterous.
A carpenter's hands.
Yeah. I have a lot of control over them. Like my dexterity.
But maybe like origami.
Couldn't do. I did try that when I was a child, and I never really got good at it.
Yeah.
But I was able to make a pretty decent duct tape wallet at one point. So it's kind of in the same.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Did you ever have those kids in your
duct tape wallet?
Yeah.
A duct tape wallet kid in my class?
Like,
is that what you're asking?
People that were into making duct tape wallets.
No.
There was a couple of kids.
This is the first I've heard of it.
You never even heard of that?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool, though.
You would take it. Yeah, you would take it and, fold it over each other, obviously, so that when you put stuff in it, that it wouldn't, like, stick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was like an interesting thing. And I was, like, just a kid, and I found, like, I went in my dad's garage, and I found, like, a razor knife and, like, a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And a roll of duct tape, and I brought it up there, and
you made yourself a billfold.
Basically. And it was only good for a billfold. It couldn't have really held, like, at this time I wasn't thinking about debit cards, credit cards,
have, like,
insurance
in
cards.
It was just like
it just folded once,
pocket.
had one pocket. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there was like a couple of kids in my grade that like, and this was like middle school.
Yeah.
That would like they would like they did like a production out of it, and they would like sell them to the other kids in the grade, know, like they would get a little bit of cash, a little bit of
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I was jealous of them, but like I had made my wallet. I had learned to make it before they were doing all that. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I could have done this with you guys, Yeah. But I wasn't really. I was like classmate friends with them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We didn't like hang out really.
Yeah. Competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been working on this bank.
Yeah, to bring it full circle.
And
to bank.
Which you bring a wallet to a bank, so it is kind of a neat. Yeah, perfect circle.
Yep.
And it's in the city, deep in the city, and like it's in a pretty shady area, you know, where
Okay.
you're on the street, you're driving down the street, and there's people standing out there, and they're pretty sketchy looking characters, and then like there's graffiti all over the buildings that they're standing in front of and what have you, and it's just like it's a weird discomfort. And then like you're working in a bank, so you're like, oh, what if somebody decides they want to rob this bank?
I didn't even think about. Well, so is this like an existing bank already, and you're doing some updates to it?
Yes.
Okay, that's Yeah, that'd be sketchy.
Yeah.
If it was like a new bank and there's no actual,
Then you don't have to
money
worry
in it.
about it,
Yeah,
yeah.
But okay, I see now.
The reason that it wasn't as the most uncomfortable part is like walking to and from your car, like when you're not in the building, because the bank is obviously secure because it's a bank.
Yeah.
There's like a security guard on duty all the time, and then there's like metal detectors and what have you.
Right.
The doors are like you need a key card or
To get in the bank?
yeah.
Like really?
Well, we would get there before the bank would open.
Okay, so
So we would go in the back with a security card.
Gotcha.
But even to get in the front, to get in the front door whenever it's operating,
Yeah.
the security guard basically buzzes them in. He doesn't.
Oh, that's
you can't.
interesting.
You can't even get into the bank. You are looking.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you know, like in the
Yeah.
glass, and they're like, all right.
I think actually, yeah. I've only seen that one other time.
Really?
Like when I was in Puerto Rico, there were like a few places where you had to like buzz in, and then they unlock it for
Right.
you. But yeah, so this bank out here
Was
has that.
Was there crime? Like, was it like a pretty high crime rate where you were?
Possibly, I didn't look into it though. I probably
Yeah.
should have, but
I
yeah.
This bank, like, I got used to it. The people working in there were so sweet and like were like super like malleable with what was going on. I could say, you know, like if I needed the space,
Flexible
they would
and-
give me my space.
Yeah.
If they needed, it was weird because I was working by like the vault, you know, and the drywall around the vault door needed to be updated.
Mudded and
So
such.
when they needed to get to the vault, you know, they're like putting in the combination and they're like kind of like
Yeah.
looking over their shoulder at me, like, and I'm like, I'll back away from you.
Yeah,
You can have your
yeah.
space, you know. And so that was kind of weird. But the last day I was there, Friday, the superintendent was like, hey, will you hold that door open for me? I got to bring this out. And it was the front door. And the front door is like this heavy metal door. And then it's got like the weird glass window with like the X's in it.
Bulletproof.
And it had a little tiny circle with a bunch of shatters around it, and it had like 2 or 3 of those. And I was like, great. At
Yeah.
some point, somebody tried to shoot their way into this bank,
Right.
and I didn't notice it because I always use the back door, you know.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, that's crazy. Imagine if I was here when that happened. I'd be so
Yeah.
scared, you know.
But also, do you think they'd even like be able to make it in?
They were obviously unable to make it in because
Yeah,
it didn't
right.
penetrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the door's locked, huh?
But that's a weird situation.
That is strange.
You know, I imagine that whoever did that tried it at a time after hours, you know,
Yeah.
or before.
How long is that like walk from your car to the bank?
Not long. It's a small parking lot. You know, the parking is a nightmare. You
Yeah.
know, so we're like,
But there's a parking lot.
there is
nearby.
a really small parking lot, and then you basically walk around, and like
Okay.
it's right there. It's
Gotcha.
less than a minute.
Okay.
You're in there, but. Like when I first got there and when I was leaving, I had to bring all my tools in.
Yeah.
So like I'm making multiple trips, leaving my car unlocked, you know, that kind of stuff is a little weird.
Yeah.
But
Now
it went off without a hitch.
went off without a hitch.
I think that's how that phrase. I don't know.
Well, what does that phrase? What is the phrase supposed to mean?
It
'Cause
went
I'm-
smoothly and it was good. But
Okay.
I don't. When I think about like a trailer,
You want it to hitch.
you want it to have a hitch. So I don't really know.
Hatch?
Maybe I got
Okay.
the phrase wrong.
I don't know. I've never heard of
possible.
the phrase, so I can't
Yeah. You can't
correct
speak
you
to it
or anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Now, would you rather like live in? Would you rather do a job in a crime-ridden area? That's gonna No, it's not crime.
No,
related.
it's yeah.
But no, would you rather do a
There was-
job in a crime-ridden? Would you rather do a job in a crime-ridden area or, like where someone's like shot every like 4 days maybe.
I'm gonna say probably not. Before you
but the other option is like to drive like 3 hours to a job.
Well,
what's your furthest like drive?
The farthest I've done is 2 hours, which I was doing right before this bank job, which I was only on that bank job Tuesday through Friday because of the holiday. So, and then the week prior, I was driving 2 hours to a job in Illinois, which was a factory, like a dog food factory, and which is a drive I'll have to make Monday as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I would rather do that because I get the drive I get extra pay for that.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid.
Yeah. I'm not afraid. Anyway,
I'm Eminem when I go.
Yeah. So you get paid like the same like rate when you drive as you're like mudding? Is that the case for you?
It's just like my boss and I will have a conversation about it, and if it's like this far, he'll say, "All right, just add this much every day."
Okay.
And like it's like a specific dollar amount instead of like time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, from my understanding, I mean, I think for people it's different. It's been different with a couple of different people.
Huh.
I've been wearing my hard hat on this job because some jobs will make you wear a hard hat, some won't. This one was making me. My hard hat's getting pretty nasty. It's time to update.
Yeah.
And like my forehead feels like dry,
oily?
Scaly.
Oh, dry and scaly.
Itchy. Like it makes me. It's like uncomfortable, because the thing's nasty.
You need to exfoliate.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Dang. Well, I haven't noticed any like.
Is it red at all? It's not bad. Like if when it itches, I'll just barely scratch.
Yeah.
Try to keep it pretty chill so that I won't have a giant red spot on my head.
Do you lotion at all like after a shower?
Absolutely not.
What temperature are your showers? Are they hot? Steam? Do they scorch your skin?
No, they're probably right under that. They're pretty hot, but it doesn't. Yeah. It's not discomfort. Okay. Like there's no discomfort.
Yeah, because I mean, like up until like. I feel like once I started college, I started like lotioning because like I have really dry skin, and like it's life changing. So you gotta.
I probably ought to.
You
yeah. I have sensitive skin though, so I got to get like the non-scented, like just
Aveeno.
Very basic, plain lotion. Yeah. Cool. Glad we got all that bullshit out of the way.
Talk.
All right. Let's talk about. I have so many notes that.
Have you ever had like
different times
any hookers approach you?
No. So it's funny because I'm on this job in the city, and I was on a job.
Crime alley.
Yeah, I was on a job like a quarter mile away, maybe a half mile away.
Yeah.
Like over a year ago for a different company, and it was a White Castle.
Okay.
And right across the store from the White Castle was a Patricia's like adult toy store.
Oh, gotcha.
And there was oftentimes a prostitute out there trying to solicit,
seeking business.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, at least that's what they said. They look, it's a prostitute. And I was like, I mean, there was nothing about her that screamed to me, "Oh, that's a prostitute." Yeah. I just thought it was just somebody. It was just another
trench coat on or anything.
No, nothing like
normal
that.
Person.
Nothing like that.
Normal pedestrian clothes.
It looked like a normal, like crazy city person.
Oh,
like
okay.
Somebody who didn't really have anywhere to go and was like a little bit out of their mind.
I see.
Kind of like pacing back and forth.
It's a toughie.
Yeah.
It's a toughie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's not like as common today with like the internet,
Oh yeah.
Like,
so I will say, I went to right before I met my lovely, lovely girlfriend Jess.
Right.
And I was in a bit of what you would call a drought.
Okay.
I went to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I'll just say straight up, if I had more money when I went on that trip, I probably would have been a bit of a client.
Patron.
Yeah, I would have patronized the business there. I was in a mindset where it's like I need something going on quick.
Yeah.
So, and it was
Well, I'm
I
glad
was just broke. I was just too broke. I didn't save enough money for the trip.
you didn't
And
you didn't hit big at the casino.
didn't hit big at the
like,
casino and wasn't able to afford the
playing
the business.
blackjack and like I need this win.
I need
this money.
yeah,
But
yeah.
It was all for naught.
Yeah.
That's
Which
good.
is probably a
Yeah,
good
it's-
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. But it's a weird thing cuz like you go on the website and it's just like the photos that are used, like you scroll and each woman is just like such a 10. And you can only imagine when they knock on that hotel door, there's just absolutely no way
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna look like.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird.
Yeah, with all those face filters now.
Right.
If I see like I don't know, like some shoulders and then it's just like a blotch of like paint or like just a big skin colored blur with 2 dots and a smile.
Yeah.
Like that's too much.
Yeah.
Too much face filter
Right.
for me.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Yeah.
It
I
definitely
don't
gets weird.
even like it. Like
I actually know somebody who shot and killed somebody for over a prostitute situation.
Okay.
I worked with him,
You okay.
and I spoke with him almost daily.
like before.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked with him, and you might have even met this guy at some point.
Oh,
at
okay.
the old
So,
warehouse.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's no secret I worked at UPS, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he he was like a funny guy. Like we'd play around, and I forget what his name was, but
Randy.
I think the story, yeah, that's close.
Let's call him Randy.
I think the story was he had he had hired this woman
Okay.
for a little bit of sexual endeavor, and I think that the task was not performed to his satisfaction, so he was going to refuse payment.
Okay.
Then
I ain't paying for this.
basically,
Yeah.
and the security personnel for this employee,
Yeah.
had to make an appearance, and they argued over it, and he shot the pimp and
wow.
killed him.
Dang.
Yep.
That's kind of wild.
I think. I think that's
From what you've heard down the grapevine.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it was like on the news too, though. I don't think it was just like a rumor that was being spread from person to person. I think I read like news articles that said similar things to that.
I feel like that's just like the worst scenario.
Imagine.
Yeah, for like a bad review, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's tough.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta pay. You gotta pay.
You gotta pay the piper.
You gotta pay one way or
Pay
another.
the piper, huh?
Right,
Anyway,
right. Or the piper would pay in that situation, I guess.
Yeah, it depends. Are there guy ones out there, you think?
Yeah.
Somewhere?
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe not as common. I feel like it's a
Cannot be as common.
trusting thing, Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's easier for a guy to trust like a complete
stra- a ran-
stranger
yeah,
who's a
random
girl
woman.
because like maybe it's like they know
there's
they can like handle their
Definitely
own, but,
a
like,
dynamic.
If there's like a girl, like yeah, I'll invite this grown man into my
Complete stranger who's
yeah.
obviously not in a good place already.
It's a different thing for sure.
Yeah, it's weird.
Probably the ratio is just
Well, I think that's why the one of the reasons that the pimp has a job in the first place, because like the woman doesn't need a pimp to get business. Like
right.
if you stand there, and it's not hard to find lonely men. So then the biggest issue would be your safety, and the pimp would be your security more than, because otherwise what are you paying him for?
Yeah.
To put you on the street and get like, he's not giving you a job. You could have that job. He's giving you security, I would think.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I just asked. I brought up this.
That is a weird
this
thing that
topic.
you asked.
Yeah. One of the things between this break, I was in Puerto Rico for like work, and I was like, I guess I was in like a bad part of town, and we're good.
I wanted to see if it was picking up that heater.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was in this bad part of town. I don't study like what's a good part of town or not, and
Right.
like there were like there were some hookers just like obviously prostitutes, just like
Doing their thing.
some Puerto Rican prostitutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
My favorite kind.
I drove past them and they're like approaching my car and waving. I'm like, I could do this right now,
Yeah.
but I'm all right. And
Right.
I
Right.
waved at one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
so anyway, that was
It's
my
a
only
weird
exchange with
What
one.
were you there for?
Just work. So I was like,
Work.
work. I was at this company installing
Yeah.
some stuff. So
Gotcha.
it's chill.
Did it make you uncomfortable? These prostitutes trying to.
Maybe I was like fine. I think the fact that I waved back at them, it was a while ago, but the fact that I waved back at them, maybe I wasn't as uncomfortable
Right.
as you'd think I'd be.
Kind of
Yeah.
turned it,
Yeah.
turned it back around.
Yeah. I wasn't like, I gotta get out of here. I was
Yeah.
just like, hey.
Is
bye.
it legal there? I mean,
It
must
it's
be if
gotta
they're
be.
just
It's
standing
got
there in
because
the
like
open.
it was like right by a Walmart too.
Was it like in broad daylight?
It was at night.
Was it?
But
Doesn't mean there's not patrol.
petrol. It's the patrol at Puerto Rico. The lights are green and blue
Really?
as opposed to blue and red.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's
That's
neat.
weird.
Yeah.
You would think red and green, but that's like Christmassy. But it's
Right.
weird to have blue and green because they're so close on a color wheel, as we
Yeah.
all know.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was cool. It's definitely a lawless place. I feel like.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll go.
Yeah.
But
No need for a passport.
really? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
I didn't know that.
I wouldn't have known
So,
that.
Yeah.
I would have just assumed. So, yeah, there was a guy. Man, what's more uncomfortable when you see somebody standing there with their sign, panhandling,
Oh, okay.
and like you're pulling up and you're like about to drive by them, but the light turns red and you got to stop.
Yeah.
So there was a guy out in the city. He's standing there in his pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't have the money. Like,
Right.
normally if I have a little bit of money, I'll give it to him. A couple ones or whatever, but all I had on me was a 20.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give my 20 away.
Right.
So I pull up to the light and I purposely go past him a bit, but he walked back and he's like waving at me and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't roll my window down. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to, but I don't have it. It's so uncomfortable.
Did he say anything or is this...
I couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
You know, he was mouthing words, but I just couldn't hear him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
I wanted to keep it that way.
Yeah. It's you can't help but to like feel bad.
It feels really
Or
bad.
like you're like, oh dang, I'm letting them down, but like
Yeah.
you never owed them anything in
yeah,
the first place.
right.
But it's weird the way they do it, or just their situation. It makes you like feel like you owe them something.
Yeah.
But you don't.
Right.
It's just
like, dude,
sucks
I'm
for
broke
them,
too.
yeah.
I'm in a month. I'll be standing right next to you with my sign.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very uncomfortable.
On my way to the job that was 2 hours away,
Okay.
I started my first day there. I decided to start at 7, because obviously to start at 6, I'd have to wake up at like 3:30, get ready, drive, leave the house at like 4, a little before 4 if I want to get there on time, or a
Crazy.
little bit early.
Super early.
So the first day I got there at 7, and it was starting to get a little light out when I was getting close, and there was a shooting star. And, you know, there's always like, have you ever seen a shooting star or thought you might have?
I think so. Yeah.
So a lot of times, because I feel like I've seen a few, a lot of times it's like just a tiny section of the sky,
Yeah.
and it's gone in a flash.
Yeah.
And you're like, I might have seen a shooting star, but there's a good chance I didn't. You know, it could be my brain doing something. But this one was so insane. I'm driving this way, and the shooting star went. I mean, all I saw was like a little white light shoot across the whole, the
Yeah.
whole length of, because it's Illinois, so it's super flat, you know. So and you could see a lot.
There were no obstructions.
There was nothing blocking my view, like until it was just gone from sight.
Yeah.
I watched it like the whole way, and at first I'm thinking I thought like my very first thought was it was like a jet that was going by really fast, but like
it was going pretty quick, huh?
and there was just no doubt that it was because it disappeared, and I watched it the whole like almost the whole way.
Yeah.
Across, I mean, it happened obviously really quick.
Right.
But like I watched a good amount of it. Like it was really wild, and I was like, oh, that was definitely a shooting star.
Yeah.
And immediately made a wish.
There you go.
I'm not even like a very superstitious kind of guy,
but might as well.
Might as well.
Yeah.
But is that like a selfish thing? Like
What?
you see a shooting star and you make a wish, like, oh, now it's time to make this about me.
I mean, the way if you put it that way,
Obviously, it
maybe.
sounds selfish.
Yeah, but
You don't have to put it that way.
I would never think that. I
Yeah.
guess usually
I'm always trying to be pretty aware of when I'm
Yeah.
being selfish or
Yeah,
not.
it's a good trait to have.
But I'm not hurting anybody if I make a wish off
right.
of this shooting star.
And according to like the shooting star like
Lore.
whoever sees the shooting star can
make a
make a
wish.
wish. So there's like an unlimited amount of wishes. It's not like you took someone else's
Right.
wish.
Right.
So
I mean, and if it did work that way, then I imagine I had to be first. It was so early in the morning,
Yeah.
and like I immediately started thinking about my wish.
yeah.
Like almost as quick as it came and went, I was thinking about my wish.
Yeah, it's
It
yeah.
hasn't came true yet, but it was a long term.
That's cool. What's your wish?
I can't tell, according to the lore.
That's right. Has it come true yet?
I already said it hasn't come true yet. I said that.
Oh,
Did you not hear me say that?
It went. "Wink."
No, yeah, it has not come true yet, but it's a long-term kind of thing. So there's
okay.
time.
Okay.
It's one of those things that it could happen really soon or it could happen way later.
Yeah, there
There's
you
just
go.
there's no.
It could come to fruition
right.
at some point. It's got time.
Yeah, so I can't be like my
Yeah.
wish didn't come true. I can't even be upset because it's like one of those things that
Yeah.
Well,
That's yeah. So and you were like in a field, like a driving through a cornfield.
yeah,
pretty
it would have been
Yeah.
some kind of
So the skies were
crop
probably
fields
like
on-
clear at that time too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Without the
there
the
was
pollutes.
there was no like there wasn't a bunch of light pollution. There wasn't really any clouds. There wasn't really any trees.
Yeah.
No hills. It was really interesting. I saw it the whole
Probably
way.
the best scenario you could see that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It is a dream of mine to visit the Northern Lights.
Oh yeah.
The Aurora Borealis or whatever.
That's that. Yep. Where is that?
I knew at one point.
Not Alaska, right?
I don't. It might
Canada?
be. It might be up that way, or it might be
Vancouver.
like the Greenland kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
But I'm not sure. I don't really know. It's definitely north. It's definitely in an icy area, so it would have to
Yeah.
be like. It's not like Russia. It's got.
Yeah.
It's like a. It's
I feel like
closer
there's
to us.
some things that I just like write off as fiction, and then I forget like it's definitely a real
that
thing.
they exist.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like that with the Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls. All things that
Mount
would be.
Rushmore.
Oh, yeah,
So,
exactly.
like,
That's
why
like
is that a
that's the
real thing?
weirdest one because
Yeah.
it's like people's faces carved into a mountain.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Someone
Who
who
did
just
that?
didn't have anything else to
I
do,
mean,
I guess.
like unless they got commissioned to do it. But there's like that's like the only one of those.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of mountains in the U.S. They didn't do that anywhere else.
Yeah.
But this one place, and they just chose 4 presidents, or one of them's not. Is one of them not a president, or am I thinking about money?
Maybe mine. I don't know.
I don't
have
either.
no
I don't-
idea.
I don't know
know
whose
enough
faces are
about
on it.
history or anything.
Right. But like it's just these 4 guys and like when did they do that? Because
Yeah.
there's been many presidents since, like what if there has been a president since that deserves a spot on it,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like no one's doing that anymore.
Yeah.
What, you want me to carve a face on them? What
Yeah, we can't update that. It's
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah, and like another thing, like nobody would know Mount Rushmore if that wasn't there.
It'd just be another mountain.
Like a random, like there's probably a mountain or like maybe like a peak or something like in the St. Louis area that's just like has a name but like nobody knows about.
Right. Right. Yeah, they make a big deal about the bigger ones,
Yeah, but Mount Rushmore is just like not that big either.
Right.
I think it's just
Mountains are pretty interesting though because I don't know if it's known or if it's theorized that the collision of like land masses is what leads to mountains.
Oh, okay.
You know,
that makes sense.
have you ever heard of this?
No,
Plate
no.
tectonics.
Do
You never heard of plate tectonics?
No, tell me.
Basically,
it makes sense.
The continents are all land masses. You know, they're moving. They're moving really slowly, and like millions of years ago or whatever, could just be hundreds of thousands. I'm not sure. I wasn't there.
Right.
But and there's no documentation.
Yeah.
But it's theorized or maybe known that the world looked different, like the shapes.
Yeah.
And
What was the Pangea?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like that's why like India was its own thing, and I believe that's why like huge like there's like huge mountains around India because it's a big land mass, and then it collided with Asia.
I see.
And it crumpled up into this giant mountain. And I imagine that would be why people from India look different from like the rest of Asia, because it arrived later, you know?
Yes.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I just remember
I
remember learning a little bit about it in middle school.
Yeah. And like I remember like around that age I'd always like look at the shapes of like the continents, and like it's almost like a puzzle. Like I guess like what Africa is like an upside down boot.
Sure.
And then like I don't know, like it just fits right over like South America or something like that.
Yeah, in a weird way.
They all like you could see them like fitting. You
right.
know? But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's like this is definitely what happened, or if that's like that's what scientists are like.
Theory.
Yeah, we think this is what happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, we weren't there either. Like nobody was there that's alive now.
Right.
Not to my knowledge.
No, nobody.
So
other than Keanu Reeves.
he might have been there.
Yeah.
If I ever get the chance,
Reincarnate
I'll ask him.
fella. Yeah.
I feel like you are kind of like Mr. Reeves there. You guys are similar.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, movies, right? Are you a movie guy? You like movies?
I've been seeing a lot of movies recently.
Have you really?
And yeah, I got more about that, but go on.
I haven't watched a whole bunch of movies. You know, I like a lot of stuff. So when I watch a movie, there's very few movies I watch where I'm like, oh, I hated it.
Yeah.
Because I can always find like something that I enjoy. I'm a sucker.
Yeah, okay.
But I also like am paying attention to choreography and like the writing, and I'm thinking about that kind of stuff while I'm watching a little bit.
Yeah.
CGI I don't really care about. It doesn't when CGI looks bad, I'm like, well,
Takes you out of it.
It does not take me out of it.
Okay.
You know, I don't really care.
Oh,
you know,
you're saying
like,
if CGI is bad, like it's
doesn't
not
really,
like a deal breaker.
No,
for you.
no.
Yeah,
People
okay.
were like, "Oh, She-Hulk looks terrible," and I was
Yeah.
like, "I liked She-Hulk."
I think with that it's just like the CGI is not bad. It was just like the uncanny valley or whatever. Have you heard that?
No.
It's like when I guess, have you seen the Garfield movies?
No.
Like the CGI ones with Bill Murray?
No.
Okay. Well, there's times when like a cartoon or something is brought into real life, right? And just the human
Space Jam style.
Yeah, or something like that. But yeah. And like the human mind just hasn't seen it in like real life, and just like the way they like translate a cartoon into like the real world through like CGI, like something's not right about it.
Right.
It's not like the VFX artists like are bad or like unskilled. It's just like the design of it like kind of makes us think, like us looking at it is like something's not right about that. We can't even
fathom it because it's
I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but like look up the uncanny valley and like it'll explain better. But yeah, so it doesn't take you out.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
You don't judge a movie by its
No,
CGI.
not at all. But the reason I'm even bringing it up, there's always something like it actually kind of goes with what you said. In movies, when they talk on the phone, they always hang up without saying goodbye.
Yeah.
They never say goodbye on the phone. They always
true.
Go, okay, click.
Yeah.
And so in a sex scene in a movie,
okay,
you know, there's always like the blanket over them and then, you know, the guy's like, ugh.
Okay.
But he never is like, there's never a part where he pulls out and does all that. There's never a part where he like it's like, oh, hang on, pulls the piece of latex, the
right.
latex sleeve off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it always just appears that they're just
In the middle of it.
making sweet sweet love. The guy climaxes and then just flops over onto his back, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like they just never make it clear where the guy
did his business.
where the guy
Fed the geese.
leaves his DNA.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I guess that's a good point. I'm trying to think of like movies that have done that.
My note is sex scene in movies /TV.
Yeah.
New line, indentation. Where does the dude come?
Okay.
And,
I don't know.
And I
don't know where he does.
I mean,
It's cut like it never shows it, right? Although
imagine if it did. Like
I saw this sucky movie. I didn't like it. A lot of people did like it. Have you seen The Green Knight?
No. I
Well,
haven't even heard of it.
There was a scene that like that, but it wasn't like intercourse. It was more like handy stuff.
Right.
And it actually like showed where the stuff was left, you know?
Right.
And it was just on a blanket.
Oh, well, I mean,
And it was kind of like the same thing as you were talking about. So I think that's like the one time that question
where
it was revealed.
Right.
Which
right.
I was just like, what
Yeah,
is this movie?
yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
realistic.
The Green Knight, check it out.
Yeah, that's a good sales pitch on it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Also in movies, abuse. I don't get affected that much by movies and TV. I just like stuff.
Uh-huh.
I laugh hard at good jokes. When something is sad enough, you know, it can definitely impact me. But it's like trauma and abuse that like makes me really uncomfortable to watch because I have experienced a great deal of that in my own life.
Okay.
And so like we were watching a movie, I forget what movie it was, but the dad in the movie like just beat the shit out of his kid. And it was like it was abuse to an extent that's like, okay, you know, like obviously there's people like that, but like most abuse isn't like
To that extreme.
your dad's like reeling back, you know, punches
yeah.
from right and left field. But so it was a little weird, but it has such an effect on me when I'm watching that I get really uncomfortable. I get really like bummed out, you know.
Yeah.
It brings out a weird part,
Yeah.
you know.
Huh. Yeah, I think I don't know. Like
were you abused at all?
No, I had a cushy lifestyle
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
spanked. I was like disciplined,
Right.
but not to that extent for sure.
Right.
But yeah, like I get uncomfortable with those scenes, but it doesn't
Yeah.
like ruin the movie.
It doesn't ruin the
For
movie
me.
for me either.
But like I guess how I'm trying to find a way to word it to where like how you're describing it bothers you. Like I
Yeah.
don't get that same.
Yeah, I
effect.
get
I get uncomfortable, but
I
I
think
wouldn't
it's-
say it bothers
it's
me.
definitely in there to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, you can argue like, oh, that's what art is, you know,
Yeah.
and which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But it definitely affects me more than just about anything else.
Yeah.
In media.
It's interesting. Like I think certain things like in your life, like experiences or like new things, can like affect the way you like interpret movies. Like I guess right. So I know like a parent, right? They weren't a parent before, and they could like watch like horror movies with like kids in it.
Right.
But once they're a parent, they can't like
I can't.
they
Oh,
get
I can't watch
squeamish
this. I can't
with-
watch this.
when there's
Yeah.
a kid in like in a horror movie,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it just like changes.
It definitely changes.
Once there's like something
your
like,
own experiences definitely
yeah,
change the
yeah,
way
yeah.
you experience
Yeah.
media for sure.
It's a neat one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've watched some good movies recently. Is there any like more movie things you have to say about this movie phase?
Let me see if I have any more notes on movies.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Waiting.
I think that's it on movies.
Have you heard of Letterboxd?
Letterboxed?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. It's an app I got recently,
Okay.
and it you get to like rate movies, and you could like make your own lists about, and you could like rank them too. And like you could just find like what everyone thinks is like the best movies and stuff. And
Is this free? Can
it
anybody
is
do
a
this?
free app, yeah. So yeah, I downloaded it probably like a month ago.
Is there a paid option that gives you more perks, more things to do?
There is, but I have no like desire. I don't even know what the perks are. Like I'm so like content with the app. There's
It's
no
so
need
good
for
on its own without it, right? Okay.
So yeah, but I recently just like have been like discovering movies that are like quality or like Oscar movies that I haven't seen, and I've been like trying to watch them, and like I'm super impressed with them. I like them a lot. Yeah.
It's so weird. Like all the Oscar winners are from movies that you never hear about.
Yeah.
You don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
You didn't know they were making it.
Because I feel like it's so easy to watch like the big franchise movies,
Right.
and such.
And somehow those are not winning, like, which I guess kind of makes sense because it's pretty, like, every Marvel movie has, like, the same formula. Like, they all pretty much have, it's like reskinned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I
Most
love.
of the time.
I love Marvel movies. I haven't been into them that much lately. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, so it makes sense that they're not winning every single awards. Like, we've seen this 25 other times.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of depth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess let me just name off some movies and see if
Please
you've
do.
seen them. Some
Probably, I'm going to
works
say
of art.
before you start, I probably haven't heard of them.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm not a big... What did you say? Because like I said, I like movies, but I'm not like a movie guy, Like I like Tarantino films. I like John Wick.
Right.
I like Marvel movies, you know. So go ahead. I think you said
I was
Shrek.
trying to like set it up. I was about to say Shrek 2, but you caught me. But yeah, Shrek 2 is definitely a 5 out of 5.
Is it an Oscar winner?
No, it might be of something.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I think it might have been. I don't know.
It's got a good soundtrack.
There's a bunch of categories. Maybe it was best animated picture. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shrek 2 is good. Have you seen There Will Be Blood?
Nope. Haven't heard of it.
Good movie. Well, long movie. It's definitely like a character movie, like about one guy, and you just like anyway. Daniel Day-Lewis, if you heard of that guy.
I've heard of him. Can't think of a face.
Good actor. He played like Lincoln in the Lincoln movie. He's really tall.
President Lincoln?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it or heard of it.
Okay. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I've never seen it, but I have heard of it.
Yeah.
That's Stephen King, right?
I think so. I think he might have written like the book.
Yeah.
And then like Morgan Freeman's in it.
Right.
And this other guy. Anyway. Good movie. You got to see it. I saw it like a week ago for the first time.
Shawshank?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
Redemption?
Yes. That's the one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Good movies.
Once Upon a Time. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Might be Shawshank. I don't know.
Really?
I saw it like
That you just that might be a recency bias though too.
Yeah. That's what I'm like thinking. It could be a recency bias.
What was your favorite up until that point? Would you say?
It's hard to like tell.
It's hard. For a long time, my favorite movie would change.
Yeah, and I for a little bit it was like Baby Driver. If you've ever seen that,
that's got Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx.
I never saw it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, I don't know. Like Shawshank Redemption,
is really up there for
the top movie according to like a bunch of lists and stuff.
Yeah, and it's old. It's 80s?
Like 95, 94, 95.
Okay, so it's not that old.
Yeah, not super old, but it's just, I don't know. Right, that's what it is right now. As of like a week ago, it could change. I'll let you know if it does. But that's probably the one right now. My
favorite movie, consistently for a long time now, since I watched it, has been Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really,
I've loved that movie so much.
So Interesting.
It's
Okay.
like how long is like it feels like it's like 2 hours of build up.
Yeah.
It just tension, weird. That's what Tarantino's films are always like.
Yeah.
There's so much build up and tension and like discomfort, and then
Yeah.
like one massive blowout climactic
Yeah.
sort of sequence.
Yeah.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like the relationships and everything, it wasn't boring. It was
Yeah.
interesting. I was like, it was tense and weird. I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio was so brilliant in it.
Yeah.
He's great in everything.
Yeah.
But then like,
Rick Dalton.
is that what the guy? Yeah, I haven't
Um,
seen it in a while now.
Yeah, I only saw it in theaters
Really?
when it came out.
Your
but
memory is way better than mine.
Yeah, I've seen like clips of it since though.
Yeah, but like when like they get to the house and like Brad Pitt starts doing his thing, it's just like holy crap! Like it's all been
Yeah,
building up to this,
yeah.
and like if you know anything about the Manson family thing, like you have like this expectation,
Uh-huh.
but then when the way it happens in the movie, you're like, you're not expecting it really at all.
Yeah.
And like when Brad Pitt slams that girl's head, he throws like a can of beans at her or something, and then like he eventually starts slamming her head on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like running around screaming like super aggressively.
Yeah.
It's like it cracks me up, but it's also like, oh my god,
Yeah,
like it's
just
weird.
So intense.
Yeah, so I think that is definitely my favorite movie of all time. And if it's not that, it's one of Tarantino's movies.
I'll say I was definitely like, from what I remember, I was definitely like entertained
Yeah.
for the majority of that movie. I did feel like it was a bunch of random things happening. I'm like, why is this happening? What
Right.
does this serve the plot? But also like the two, I guess like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, like I guess seeing those characters in like the random situations, you got like a good idea of like who they were.
Right.
Like,
That's what's weird about like when you have a cast of like nothing but stars.
Yeah.
When you have so many stars in your cast and you have to do that.
yeah.
Cuz like these A-listers aren't going to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll be a side character,
Yeah.
I'll be a background guy."
It's almost, I feel like with like Marvel movies, like maybe the main thing they focus on maybe would be like the plot,
Yeah.
as in like where's this story taking
Instead of individual characters.
from the start to end. Yeah. As opposed to like the characters, I guess.
Yeah, because you like in Marvel movies, it seems like one character is the focus. An
Yeah.
Iron Man or a Captain America or some other.
Yeah, and a lot of time you already like know the character too, especially like with the sequels,
Right,
So
right.
maybe it's like not as important.
Yeah, and even when
But-
you watch the first one, if you've read comics or like for Spider-Man, if you've watched the other Spider-Man movies,
Yeah.
you don't know what Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to be right away, but you have an idea.
Yeah.
He's going to be a kid in high school. He's going to be way too smart and, like good, not going to
Yeah.
kill anybody. It's weird.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is that?
He's the most accurate to the comics easily. Like it's
Okay.
not even close. If he was a little bit less attractive, it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Cuz like but it's like a modern day dorky
Yeah.
because the comics came out in the 60s and nerds in the 60s were way different from nerds now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think they did a good job scaling it to the 21st century,
Making
but
it, modern day and such.
yeah, the other ones were too like Tobey Maguire was just too old to be Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and Andrew Garfield was too cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Way too
had too
cool.
much
No
swag.
way that guy's getting bullied. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
But the nostalgia factor would probably be Tobey Maguire,
Tobster.
just
Yeah.
because he was, I loved it when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Have you seen like Spider-Man 2 recently? The one with the Doc Ock?
No, but that's like the best one I hear.
Yeah, I still think it is.
Yeah, I never saw the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I know
You saw the first one though?
I saw the first one
Yeah.
maybe like in theaters. It was still, or it was at least new when I saw it.
Right, yeah.
Might have been a red box type of thing.
I see.
But yeah, I haven't seen it since either.
Yeah.
So I mean, the most recent ones for me are
The Tom Holland ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also like it was the funniest too, because like just like he's real goofy and dorky, you know, and then like when he's like fighting Captain America and he's kind of like fanboying.
Yeah.
You know, I like that.
I actually, yeah, a lot of people like didn't like Far From Home, the one with Mysterio.
I loved it.
I liked that one a lot. It was like, I think it was like one of the funniest like Spider-Man movies I've seen too.
The only thing they did that was weird was his relationship with
Mysterio.
No, the girl.
Zendaya.
It became her, but it was her name Liz Allen?
Oh yeah,
in the first.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was Homecoming.
Yeah.
But you thought that was kind of
like it was
strange.
Just weird because the blip happened and then their relationship is like over, and I kind of like I want them at some point to revisit it.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, obviously to have a Tom Holland Zendaya romance is a good idea. But when it was her, because we've seen him. First of all, her name isn't Mary Jane, Zendaya's character.
Yeah.
Her name is like Michelle something.
It is, yeah.
But then we've seen Peter Parker and Mary Jane. We've seen Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. But him and Liz Allen was, I think, his first girlfriend in the comics. It was either her or Betty Brant.
But, got you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like a thing.
Yeah.
Like they were like real people in the
comics.
comics.
Yeah.
Huh.
Almost every character is somebody from the comics that like just, you know, they're just not as significant.
Right. They were just like mentioned once or something.
Yeah, it's weird. In the movies, I think Betty Brant, in the Tom Holland movies, Betty Brant is the one who does like the student news.
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it was Liz Allen, but I can't remember which one was first in the comic books. I was reading them like the originals for a while.
Yeah.
Ned Leeds is like somebody that Peter Parker works with.
Yeah.
At like the Daily Bugle. Yeah. And then they have like a love triangle with either Liz Allen or Betty Brant. I can't remember which one. Yeah,
they probably won't do that.
No, they're not going to do all that. They're not going to do all that. Well, especially because they were already buddies. They're buddies in the movies. You know, they were just like coworkers who kind of talked a little bit.
Yeah.
Harry Osborn doesn't exist until way later in the comics. I mean, not way later. I guess it still would have been in the
definitely like later than like Ned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. He doesn't have like a best friend right away.
Yeah, it's weird. Like a lot of my knowledge is just like with the movies, and like if a character is introduced in a movie before like another character, I'm like, oh yeah, Harry Osborn.
Yeah,
is like classic staple in the Spider-Man series.
Right.
Ned, they just made up Ned like out of thin air. He's a new guy, you know. But no.
He existed way first. Yeah. I mean, it might have been. I don't know for sure, so I'm just gonna kind of guess, but it might have been like in the 30s when Harry in the issues 30 through 39.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like
their
1930.
Age.
I'm like,
oh no, no, before the comic ever existed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man for a long time was my favorite superhero just because he was the most relatable to me. Yeah. You know, juggling so many things and just like being a kid.
Yeah.
You know, these days he probably still is my favorite, but not as relatable as he was.
It's just because
I'm older. I'm older than Peter Parker now.
Yeah, I have that. That is weird.
Yeah,
we're just adults.
Yeah,
but yeah, I have a thing that relates to Spider-Man. But who's your like favorite hero now? I guess
probably still Spider-Man, but like I like Deadpool a lot.
Oh, okay.
And then I've been reading a lot of comic books that are not necessarily Marvel or DC. Invincible is a really good series. Kick-Ass, I read the Kick-Ass comics, which they were comic book first before
the movie.
Yeah, which I didn't even know. Yeah. That was really good. That actually, I would say that's the most relatable because he's there's no powers. There is no superpowers at all.
It's like
they
as
just,
if people dressed up and actually like
and just beat the shit out of each other. Yeah.
But I saw the movie a while ago, but it's funny.
But he's also just in high school, so it's weird. You can't really. I'm not really relating to high school kids anymore.
Right. It changes.
Yeah.
It changes.
I think Invincible is probably my favorite that I've read
So far.
recently. Well, the series is my favorite comic series that I've read 100%.
Have you seen like the TV show?
I saw the first season.
Okay.
And it was really good, and it was pretty
J. Jonah Jameson is
yeah.
that guy.
The cast is crazy in it.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It's the same writer.
Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, he wrote The Walking Dead and Invincible.
Gotcha.
And it was heavily involved in both shows. So he got a lot of he got the guy who played Ezekiel. Did you read or watch the Walking Dead?
Is that the guy with the tiger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm like, I have a general idea, but
Yeah, Stephen Young or Yun?
Oh, Glenn.
Yeah.
That guy.
He voices the main character.
Oh, okay.
Invincible.
Gotcha. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, the cast is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of Walking Dead alumni.
Yeah.
So it's not as crazy as I make it sound, I guess, but
Yeah. Interesting.
it's rare that like a show has so many people that you've heard of.
Yeah.
You know, established. Like a lot of times they'll get newer people, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But-
I think the older we get too, the more people we know.
True.
We recognize.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. Okay.
But yeah, the first season was really good. I haven't seen the second one yet. It just took so long for it to come out. Like, apparently the third season is supposed to come out way quicker. They were like working on both of them at the same time. Like, well, no shit, it's
probably
taking
like
so long.
the strike or whatever. There's the actor
There was-
strike.
there
and
was-
then maybe
yeah.
COVID probably interrupted some things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Insomniac, right?
Oh yeah.
The new Spider-Man game. We could get into that, but also, did you hear about
The data breach.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't have you working for them.
Yeah. Ransomware.
Yeah.
You hear about ransomware?
I heard the name just because of this specific
Yeah.
data breach.
Yeah, it's just so for those who don't know, Insomniac is the game who like produced like the Spider-Man games
Yeah,
for
the
like
developers.
PlayStation. They're developing a Wolverine game was recently revealed in the data breach to come out 2026, I believe. Yeah, and so pretty much with ransomware, right? Somehow their system is hacked, right? And these hackers get all their information. Everything. I don't know if they locked them out of that information or like they just took a copy of it. Sometimes with these scenarios, they can like lock the company out so they don't have access to their own stuff
files
anymore. And they're like, give us this amount of money or we're gonna destroy all of this.
Right.
In this scenario, rather than destroying it, they were just like, hey, they probably got a copy in this scenario, I bet. They're like, we're gonna leak this to everybody unless if you give us $2 million.
Yeah.
And Insomniac like, you won't do it.
Yeah,
You're
pay.
bluffing, and they
Everything.
They revealed everything.
Like personal.
The actual game, you can play the current version of the Wolverine game online.
There's there's a code for down. Yeah, it's insane.
Wild.
They also, that's what I was reading about it and I was telling Jess about it and I was like telling her how terrible it was and she like I was explaining it and she was like, oh, so it's not good at all. And I was like, no, this isn't like a fun little like, you know, like a little spoiler, you know.
Yeah.
They got it was like real criminal action and like they had all the employees' personal like social
Employees
security
information.
and everything.
PowerPoint slides were leaked about like their plans up to like 2030 and stuff.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
They got everything. Yeah. I had a buddy from my apprentice class. He was like, "Oh yeah, dude, the whole game got leaked. You can do this," and I'm like, "Whoa, dude, I'm gonna avoid this leak."
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it was not a fun one at all.
No.
And those guys are probably just gonna get away with it and never be found.
Yeah, no.
Hackers are crazy.
Definitely not. Yeah. So.
Well, that is an hour and 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yep.
So, I guess we can call it. You know, I mean, unless there's anything pressing that you need to talk about.
I got nothing else. We're in this new studio number 5.
Stu number 5.
Episode 27. It's 2024 now.
Yes.
I don't think anything.
And it will be for a little bit longer.
Foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I will say, there was a point I saw a big tow truck carrying a little. It was like one of those flat beds. It wasn't like Mater where it's got the chain hanging off. It was like a flatbed.
Okay.
And it had a mail van or whatever you would call it, just like the normal box mail truck on it. I see. And it was I remember seeing it and I was like, that is so cute.
Uh-huh.
It was like a kid like sitting on his dad's shoulders, like a toddler sitting on his dad's shoulders.
The mail truck being the wee lad.
Yeah, it was really cute. And with that, this has been episode 27.
Thank you.
Until next time, hopefully much sooner than summer.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks for joining.